If you can really help that horse feel better about itself because of you or when you're around, boy, there's that partnership, there's that connection. You're just way ahead of the game. My name is Nancy Adams, and I live in Savannah, Tennessee, and I work with horses. People have asked me over the years, what's your definition of colt starting? It's really the process by which a young horse goes from being in control of its own feet to you being in control of their feet.
I had a number of clients who needed some colts started, and it just kind of grew from there. We were excited that we were able to get her for a few days for that, and then we ended up having a bunch of individuals inquire about individual sessions, not necessarily colt starting related, and it just kind of grew from there.
When I would get them independent liberty, their head is up, their back is hollow, they're looking outside the pen, they're whinnying, they're fidgety, they can't stand still. A lot of signs of anxiety and trouble, and that's what I would call a horse that really doesn't feel good about itself on the inside. It's looking externally for safety, for comfort, for its own security. What I want, my goal, was to get them to looking to me for that. Looking into me, looking 2 eyes, 2 ears, we call it. Focusing on who is in the pen with it. There will eventually become a relaxation in the back and the head, and the feet will get more settled. Maybe the end result. Will the horse lick and chew? Are there some deep exhales? All those are really, you're kind of on the right track if you can start seeing some of that. There was a Mustang named Cheyenne. He had a lot of self-preservation, and he was pretty sure that he could take care of himself. In a situation like this where it was unfamiliar to him, he wanted out. He really did. He wasn't comfortable. She was interesting. I look at horses like that as interesting because it teaches me more. I want to get inside there. I want to see what I can do to help him make that change.
Nancy at all times has the horse's well-being, heart, soul, spirit in mind. That's her foremost focus, that the horses just feel good about themselves, that they feel right about all that goes on.
Horses learn from the release. They're kind of into pressure animals, and we teach them to move away from pressure. That's sort of a basic tenet. The only way we have of communicating to them that they've done right, that they've answered that question right when we pick up on a lead rope, is if they move in the proper way we've intended, release that pressure. That's how they learn. So in the case of that first saddling and preparing them to be mounted, you test things out. You swing a leg over the horse because that's your intent, that's your goal. We don't start with our goals. That's just too much. If someone handed you this big ball of twine and said, "Here, eat this," could you? Absolutely not. And if someone took off 50 feet of it, said, "Here, could you eat this?" No, absolutely not. But if someone broke off, just a little inch of it and said, "Here, could you eat this?" Yeah, I could do that. I can do that. So you set them up to succeed. And that's especially valuable, with a young horse in a lot of situations. If you're just putting that leg over and you're kind of rubbing them, you don't stay there very long. In fact, it's actually more valuable if you're able to be aware enough of the situation that you take your leg away before they move. It takes a lot of experience, I think, to notice is what does that horse feel like right before it takes that step. And if you can release and give the reward before, just when they're thinking of making that step, oh, that's huge. That's huge. Because in their mind, once they think of it, they've already done it. The foot is the last expression of that. Reward is the first expression of that try. Rub and pet is universal in really good horsemanship. So what do horses do? They'll nuzzle, they'll rub, they'll feel real good to each other. One of my absolute favorite Tom Dorrance story of all time was he was working with a young man, and there came a point where Tom asked the owner to rub and pet his horse because she'd made a nice change. And the cowboy goes up, wham, 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 wham. And he didn't say anything, but he set the situation up again. He said, okay, now this time, when you rub and pet, I want you to rub and pet your horse, not with your hand, but with your heart. When you're on the horse, some of the more beginner people, and we all start out there. We're looking at the head or the ears, and we're asking for a right-hand turn, and we're still looking at the horse. Whereas if you learn over time to kind of look in the direction that you're going, your mind changes to that direction. When your mind changes, your body changes. When your body changes, your horse feels it. So how cool would it be that over time, that because you look that way and everything went down through your body, the horse is just going to follow. That's what generous creatures they are.
At the clinic, he was really relaxed and happy. Learning to make him connect with me instead of just me like trying to teach him stuff or like forcing anything. He worked on like things I need fixing. Like he was really tense at the beginning, and by the end of the clinic he was really relaxed.
One of the most common things that riders do is hold their breath. I mean, from beginners to upper level, we hold our breath. It's just what we do, and that does not feel good to a horse. They feel that through the saddle. So a great way to address that is to get the rider thinking about their breathing. And you can see the horse's head sort of just, let go. Just there's a let down there, we call it, and their eye will get soft. And you can just see that they're like, oh, thank heavens. It is such a big picture. And I think that's what a lot of the horsemen mean when they say in the moment. Be really aware of the whole picture. And yet the core of that is, how does that horse feel about itself on the inside? When you get these young horses home, don't start where we left off. Start where we started. The round pen is a really valuable tool, and that you need that kind of smaller, focused environment to get them making the choices at liberty that are working towards your goal. Once some of those basic goals are accomplished, you're on, their walk, trot, canter, I'm out of there. I don't go back. All the rest of the training can be accomplished in a more normal setting. By the third day, I think we ended on a really good note. Things were soft. I could just kind of, sit on him really relaxed. That was a start. I mean, he's still got a long way to go. He's still got a journey ahead of him.
With all the things I've learned from colt starting to horseback riding, and how to soften a horse, and how to respect the horse and listen to its language, which is huge. And I'm very excited to get home and apply all these things I've learned.